In this video, I will be discussing sock yarns and what makes the best sock yarn for knitting socks. This is a video in my sock series. Be sure to check out my other sock-related videos. I'll link to the playlist at the end of this video. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified the next time I go live or have a new video available. Socks take a beating since we wear them inside shoes, and even if you don't wear yours inside shoes, there's still the friction against the flooring, and this can be really hard on the sock fabric. One way to make your sock fabric wear better is to work at a tighter tension. But another thing that can make a big difference in how well your sock fabric wears is your yarn choice. What makes a good sock yarn? Well, there are three things to look for when deciding what sock yarn to use. The first is the number of plies, the second is the twist, and the third is the fiber content. I have a few samples of some different sock yarns here. The number of plies is our first criteria, and what we want in a sock yarn is a higher number of plies. So 3, 4, 5 or more plies is a better sock yarn. That's because the number of plies, the larger number of plies, adds to the strength of the sock yarn. If you consider a single, there is some twist, but there is a single ply. This is very soft, but is not strong. So the wear you will get if you work in a singles yarn for socks, you will wear that fabric out much faster. The larger number of plies gives it strength. So look for a 3-ply or a 4-ply. Those are fairly common for some sock yarns. Sometimes you can find even more plies. Criteria number 2, the twist. So going along with the number of plies, you also want to find a fairly high twist yarn. A higher twist adds, again, to the strength. So some of these are, so this is an opal sock yarn, and it has a good number of plies. I believe it has 4 plies, and it has a pretty good twist. You can kind of see the twist there. So some other yarns, have a little bit less of a twist. This is a 2-ply. So not quite as many plies as we would want, and the twist is a little less. A lower twist adds to the softness, but takes away from the strength. So it's kind of a balancing act. This is Knit Picks Gloss Silk, and so you can see a little bit less of a twist. It does have 4 plies, I think, there. Yeah, 4 plies. But it is a little bit less of a twist, so it's soft, but not high twist. So those are just a couple things. They're kind of related, the number of plies and the amount of twist. The third criteria is the fiber content. Look for a sock yarn that has some reinforcing fiber blended in. Don't go for 100% wool yarn, as wool is very weak and when it comes to wear, and look instead for a wool blend yarn. Fibers that are reinforcing, because they're much stronger than wool, are things like nylon, silk, and mohair. So for example, this opal yarn has nylon mixed in. The Knit Picks Gloss, right, has silk. This is a silk bamboo blend. Some sock yarns use mohair as the reinforcing fiber. Mohair is very strong, so it makes for a very good reinforcing fiber. it adds fuzziness, so keep that in mind. So the reinforcing aspect of nylon, silk, or mohair, that's why you often see sock yarns with about 20% of nylon blended in. If you end up with a worn spot on your socks and you've used yarn that has 20% nylon or some other reinforcing fiber, then typically the area will wear, but the fabric will still be intact. And that's because of the reinforcing fiber. The wool has worn away, but the reinforcing fiber is still there. If you use 100% wool, don't worry, you could add your reinforcing fiber afterwards or at the same time as you are knitting them. This is a reinforcing thread, and it's a nylon blend, and it's thinner than your sock yarn. So you would, and it comes in multiple colors, so you would hold this together with your sock yarn while you're knitting the toes or the heels or both. And this adds the reinforcing fiber to those high wear areas as you are knitting them. So if you do choose a 100% wool yarn, then you can always add some reinforcement to those high wear areas. This is just one particular brand of this. There are others out there. So those are the 3 things to look for when deciding on what sock yarn to use: the number of plies, the twist, and the fiber content. These can make a big difference in how well your socks wear. Be sure to check out my other sock knitting videos. The playlist will be linked at the end here. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.